Hello fellow makeup lovers, I am so excited for this video because we're going to be doing 5 different looks with my collab, my collection with Adept Cosmetics. We've got the AMYLOVES Eyeshadow Palette, which in my humble opinion is just my perfect cool toned palette. I love it so much. And then we've got my AMYLOVES blush palette, which is for the pink blush lovers. You've got 2 blush options, 2 highlighter options. I have a bunch of videos already live on these, but I just wanted to go ahead and show you a bunch of looks, show how everything works in action, and I really hope that you enjoy. So let's jump on in. Let's start off with a little bit more of a pinky look. I'm going to start with the shade Mocha, and I'm just using a Nikki La Rose N13. This is like my favorite blending brush right now. Just gonna pick up a little tiny bit of that. And I like to start it off in my outer V and then blend into my crease. You can use it all the way through your crease to start off with, but for me, this is just what makes a really easy one matte eyeshadow look. And of course you can always go in with a little bit more. I know I've gotten some questions that are like, why no lighter shades? Like everything's too dark. But you can see like right there, that's like, to me, that's a beautiful transition shade. Just use it lightly, use it with a fluffy brush, but then you can also, I'll go in with even a little bit more. You can get depth out of it. It's very user-friendly. Also gonna smudge just a tiny little bit of Mocha along the outer half of the lower lash line. Next, we are gonna go into the shade Pink, which I love doing like a full blown out moment with this. And what I mean by that is I love to take it in my inner corner first, and I'll kind of bring it up into my crease. I'll also bring it along the inner half of the lower lash line. I can't even believe that I'm actually like doing my makeup and filming and talking to you guys about the palette right now. I'm gonna go into the shade Floral, which is like a mauvey pink, just super pretty shimmer. I'm just gonna take it on my finger, but I would say all of the traditional like shimmers in this palette, you can definitely, that was Mishka. You can definitely use them with a brush, no problem. I just prefer my fingers. And ever since I did all my research about Pat McGrath, and I learned that she also, like still to this day, even though she could literally afford like the most expensive brushes in the entire world, she still prefers her fingers as well. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna apologize. I like using my fingers. But just throwing that all over. There it is, just a very soft, simple pink look. I wanted to show you what that looks like, and then I thought we could bump it up a notch, and I'm gonna go in with just a little bit of glam on top, like on the center. I feel like this is taking it from very everyday to like just a little bit extra special. Look how pretty, so sparkly. Gonna finish off with a little bit of Blend Bunny mascara. Now going into my blush palette, I think for this look, maybe I'll show you how I like to use Aries by itself, because that is the deeper highlighter, but for my skin tone, I love using it as like a blush lighter, just a very glowy pink blush. And it is a little sparkly, a little glam, so I feel like it goes with the eyes really well. I'm gonna go in with a Nikki La Rose N15 from BK Beauty, which again has been a favorite. Just gonna pick up a little bit. You can use this topped over the blush, you know, to get more intensity, but sometimes I like using it on its own, so just show you. Just grabbing a little bit and just buffing it into the skin. Such a pretty glow. I'm gonna finish off with the Gissu Honey Infused Lip Oil in the shade Watermelon Sugar. Just like a sparkly pink. And there you have it, just a soft, simple, glam, pinky look. How many words can I use? Let's do my favorite look with this palette. Every time I have anything special or I just wanna feel extra cute, this is the look that I do. So starting off with Mocha as my transition shade. Just gonna go ahead and put that through my entire crease, keeping majority of the pigment right in the crease, and then whatever's left over I will blend upwards. Now we're gonna go into the shade Billion Much with that same brush, and I'm gonna pop that into my outer V. You can see it definitely has more depth than Mocha. Buffing it in and lightly buffing it out. We're gonna connect Billion Much onto the lower lash line about halfway. Now we're gonna go into the Silver Stunning, and I'm going to put that all over my entire lid. I just wanted to show you that you can apply them with a brush. There's just something about a good silver that just does it for me. Like, I feel like the best version of myself when I have silver on my eyes. So I also really love taking that onto the inner corner. I think it makes a beautiful inner corner shade. And then I'm also going to grab a little bit more of that kind of on the edge of the brush and pop that on the lower lash line. You can also go in with Lights Up just a little bit and top that on the inner part right here. Okay, so there's the brushes. I think it looks stunning, but I'm going to show you with my finger just because it does make it just even more intense. So pretty. Once I go in with my lid shade, I like to go back into my blending brush and just slightly go over that edge just to make sure everything is nice and soft. And then I'm also a really big fan of going in with Scrunchie as my liner. I don't always need to deepen this much. This is more of like a smoky eye moment for me. It's not like my everyday matte shade, but I use it all the time just to add a little definition to the lash line. It's my Lazy Girl liner. And then again, just finishing off with a little bit of mascara. Somebody, not naming any names, somebody's snoring like crazy. So for the cheeks for this look, I'm gonna also do my favorite combo from my blush palette. So we're gonna start off with Mishka as the blush shade and then go into Athena as the highlight. I just grabbed a touch of Mishka. I love this pink because it's just like the most beautiful, cool tone, soft baby pink. But I feel like it also still packs a punch. I'm just gonna kind of blend it in, but you can really build it up. You can really get this pink going. I normally use it a little bit lighter because I have very fair skin, but again, it is more of a buildable formula, like just the perfect tone. And then sometimes I will use Athena on this brush, like just a big fluffy brush for like an all over glow. And sometimes I will use it a little bit more concentrated. So let me just go ahead and show you what both of those options look like. So grabbing it on here, kind of just that all over glow. And I feel like the combo of these two might look similar like on camera to what Aries looks like by itself, but this is definitely more of a smooth, like just like natural glow. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still very glowy, but this delivers more sparkle. It just has like a little bit more glam to it for a slightly different look, but I love that. Going in with something a little more pinpointed, you can really just focus it on the tops of your cheekbones. And that's beautiful as well. For lip zone, I go into the Kaja Gloss Shot in the shade Milk Tea. It's just like a really beautiful baby pink gloss. All right, so there is my go-to silver look. Just very, very simple, easy to achieve in my opinion, and I just love the way this shade looks. I feel like it's just the perfect tone of silver, super bright. And if you wanted it to be a little bit more sparkly, a little bit more glam, then you can also go in with that shade like I did in the last look and just tap on top. It'll change the tone just a little bit, but it will really add those sparkles if that's something you're looking for. You can 100% play around with everything that's happening here. You can also top lavender over this silver just to get, okay, fine, I'll show you. I will show you. It just adds a little bit of color, but it still looks silver. Just going in with the tiniest little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Adds like a little shift, a little rainbow-esque moment. Just a little something extra on top. Look how pretty that is. On to the next one. Okay, so for this look, we are going to be doing a full-on smoky eye, and I'm gonna start off with the shade Mocha, and I'm just gonna bring that through my entire crease. Definitely not being afraid to build up depth for this look. Next, let's go into Billion Much. I'm gonna start building that up on the outer V, and then also bringing that through the crease. So there's Billion Much. And to take it a step further, we can go into Scrunchie, just putting that right in the outer V. I am going to go back into my first brush and just blend over that edge. Also grabbing a touch of scrunchie on a pencil brush and just connecting that to the lower lash line. But I'm only gonna go about 1/3 of the way in because I kind of want to do a pop of something else. I think let's go in with Indie. I'm just gonna use that to smoke along the lower lash line. This look would also be beautiful with Indie all over the lid. I'm gonna go a little bit more neutral today. Okay, let's go into the shade Vibes, which is like a gunmetal, super sparkly, deeper silver, and just put that all over the lid. Even just applying it with the brush, it looks so good. And then what's really gonna make this look pop is we're gonna go into the shade Stunning, and I'm gonna pop that onto the inner corner up towards the crease. I love that so much. And I'm gonna line my lash line with scrunchie, and then finishing off with the Blend Bunny Omni Lash mascara. I feel like the eyes are so intense. I kind of want to go a little bit more subtle on the cheeks, so I'm gonna start off with the shade Mishka. Just grabbing that on a fluffy face brush and kind of just throwing it on right above where I added my bronzer. And I think I might just do a matte cheek today. Just leave it right at that. And then for lips, I'm gonna go into the Pat McGrath Nude Romantic 2 lipstick. This was from the original Bridgerton collaboration. So there is my go-to smoky eye out of this palette. Like I said, you could use Indie instead of Vibes if you wanted it to be a little bit more colorful but still have that smokiness to the look. I really, really love it, and I just feel like Stunning combined with every other metallic in here is just like the most beautiful combination. It just really, really stands out. So let's go ahead and move on to the next look. Okay, I know it's the moment you guys have probably been waiting for. Let's get a little bit more colorful with my palette. So we're gonna start off with the shade Mi Amor. I feel like in pictures it looks a little bit pastel, but it really does have depth to it. It's kind of like a grungy periwinkle, so I'm gonna be using that as like my main matte shade today. You can see has really good pigmentation. Just kind of starting it off in my outer V and then blending inwards. I know that I want to go into the shade Pink, so I think I'm gonna bring that on my inner corner and kind of bring it into the crease a little bit. Popping that on right here and then bringing it up. I was about to say I feel like these tones were just made for each other, but obviously they were. Next, I'm gonna go into Pisces. Just gonna pop that onto the outer half of the lid. Definitely pop it all over the lid for a really beautiful, kind of more monochromatic look with a little duochrome, and it's stunning. But obviously I'm trying to do the most with all of these looks, so just popping that on, leaving some space. And as you can see, even though Pisces is the least traditional feeling shadow in the palette, you can still apply it beautifully with a brush. Okay, now let's go into Lavender. Just gonna pop that onto the inner half of the lid. So beautiful. I'm gonna keep it pretty simple going into Mi Amor and just building that up along the lower lash line. I'm gonna kind of take my time and kind of smoke it out. And then just finishing up with the Blend Bunny Omni Lash. I'm feeling a little bit more of a glowy cheek for this look, so I was thinking of combining the two highlighters. So I'm going to start off with Aries first, just grabbing that on more of a traditional blush brush and popping it on the backs of my cheekbones, grabbing Athena and building that up on top of that. See, it's super glowy, super pretty. And then for lips, I'm going to go into the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Opal. So obviously a little bit more of a colorful look, but I think it's so pretty. Let's do one last look. So I saved for the very end my favorite neutral look. So we're gonna be focusing on this little row right here. So starting off with 1997, I'm just gonna grab that on a fluffy blending brush. We're gonna use it as a transition shade, and then we're gonna kind of build it up a little bit. Just dusting it through my crease. Just using a very small amount and going in with a little bit more. You can see just how easy it is to really use one matte shadow, which I love about these. I just feel like they're a really good formula in my opinion. Just building it up a little tiny bit more. Also gonna use that shade along my lower lash line. Okay, now I want to go into the shade Pink with my pencil brush. So I'm going to pop that on the inner corner. I'm going to pop it on the lower lash line, kind of up into the crease a little bit. Love the way this pops on the lower lash line. And then I'm also going to take just a touch of the shade Lights Up, just as a topper on the inner corner. It makes pink look even more baby pink and just like extra sparkly. Just adds even more dimension. Now let's go into the shade Caramel. I think I'm just going to use my finger just to show you. I've been really good about using a brush for this video. Look how stunning. Just going to pop that all over the entire lid. So metallic, so creamy. Okay, once I have that all popped down, I'm just gonna go over the crease with my crease brush, make sure everything is as soft as I want it to be. And then I'm gonna grab a little bit of Billion Much on my liner brush, just adding some definition to the lash line. You know the drill, Blend Bunny Omni Lash. Okay, going into the blush palette, I'm gonna go into Cupid today. Just gonna throw that on the back of my cheekbone and kind of just blend it in. I love how vibrant this looks. I feel like it just adds life to the cheeks. I keep adding more. I just can't stop myself. It's just so pretty. But I think on top of that, I'm going to go into Athena again, which is just honestly my perfect, it's just my perfect highlighting shade. And I'm just going to throw that right on the top of my cheekbones, blending it into Cupid. Okay, for lips, I'm going to go into the L'Oreal lipstick in the shade Beige Eden 180. It's a really pretty neutral, super comfy formula. So that is the final look of the video. I really hope that you enjoyed getting to see my collection in action a little bit more. Like I said, this is launching tomorrow. I'll have all of the details down below, all the other videos that I've done in the info cards. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them for me. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And that is everything. Bye!